Okay, everybody, it's the start of the new week, about 3 hours ago. So, looking at Bitcoin first, it's doing pretty much the same thing. Like I said a couple of days ago, I think it's going to range for the next couple of weeks, possibly. I mean, this channel that I have drawn goes out till the 27th of this month. So we'll see. I mean, that's how long I drew it. I mean, we could range in here for a while. As far as the timetable goes, let's look at the weekly. So we're still consolidating around this 9, which is good. We can look at our SAR real quick. And I know I had said that whenever this breaks, I think that would be either the dip week or we're extremely close to, the dip for this area of the cycle. And it'd probably be a good opportunity. So we're at 16.2 on the stop and reversal point, which is the area oddly exactly where we were 2 weeks ago for that low. So do I think we're going to get this? It's possible. We could, come down to this channel, not ever break it, and then continue up. That's happened before. But it's something I'm watching, keeping on my chart to, an indicator of a potential entry or to add to your position if you already have a position. But I did want to show, let's look at the daily. Daily's kind of no trade zone. Like I said, if you wanted to be confident, you would wait for a breakout of this channel, and then your target would be the height of that channel, which I think I drew, but it's hidden right now. Let's see. Nope, not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Looking for an arrow. Here it is. Did I hide it? Where's it at? Oh, no big deal. I can just draw another one. All right. Let me resize this. Come over here. So target of, not my arrow. Here's my arrow. Okay. So we would go target of 22.5. I know I had said that there was a cup and handle pattern, potential cup and handle pattern on the 4-hour. That would be here. I'm going to redraw that real quick. Let's see. Curve, that's good enough. So not exactly the nicest or prettiest cup and handle, but close. I mean, part of trading is recognizing these classical patterns. It kind of failed, didn't go through. Like I said, we're ranging, but whenever I say classical patterns, there's something called a symmetric triangle. And this is kind of like what we have right here on this 4-hour. So there's about here, say right there. And then also we can draw it over here. And what patterns do is they give you, you're looking for them. So humans are actually relatively good at pattern recognition. So what these patterns give you is they kind of give you a guide or just maybe a measure of where you could potentially see a breakout or, they kind of signal you to pay attention. These don't have to be exact. Like I said, it's a pattern. They don't always play out, but it's something that you can kind of see. So there we go. So there's let me hide this real quick. So there's a symmetric triangle. And the target for the triangle is the height of that triangle. So if we happen to break out of this triangle, your target from wherever the breakout is, say we break out here, would be 7%, about 21,000, which would kind of match this cup and handle if it was something that completed. A little bit less, but nonetheless, you're getting two classical type patterns that are kind of giving you signals that, hey, potentially we're going to get a breakout. I mean, we can get a breakdown too, but There's also another kind of pattern that's here. It's called a pennant. So a bullish pennant. And the way that's drawn is this. So you can kind of see, let's say it's here. So you can kind of see, kind of forms like a pennant pattern. But you have a pennant, you have a symmetric triangle, you have a potential cup and handle. So that's three classical patterns that are kind of on the 4-hour chart that would signal, man, I'm getting all these patterns that are bullish. Maybe I should try to take a position. But there's also other things that are kind of going against that and would signal that you shouldn't be bullish here. But again, confidence would be had if you broke that channel. But it's something. This is something to watch. You could potentially take a position based on a break of this triangle, and then your pennant is your target is the height of the pennant. So that would be here to here, and then say we broke out, somewhere around there. That's almost 22,000. Does that line up with what our cup and handle would have? And these are approximates, right? It's not going to get you to the dollar, especially on an asset that's almost $20,000. Yeah, that would be. It's giving you like a range, right? So if anything, my breakout could potentially be between, say, 20,000 and 22.5. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that we have a pennant, symmetric triangle, potential breakout. This pattern either completes or fails by the 9th of December. We could get a breakout here. We're getting lower lows and higher. We're getting lower highs and higher lows. So it could be something to watch. Maybe there's a short trade here. It breaks out of this symmetric triangle, and we get a 7% run over the next week. But I wanted to highlight that. All these areas are just backtest areas. So that's Bitcoin real quick. Again, kind of just consolidating in. Let me get rid of these and bring back my my ranging area. You can see it on the daily much better. So there you go. We could range for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Get a drop back down here, find support. Let's go through a couple things. Funding rate, it's kind of positive. It is what it is. On the weekly, it is positive. Again, I think it's a no trade zone. We're just ranging. But we got a signal for the hash ribbons. The hash ribbons, looks like, hold up, let me put this on the daily. It's better on the daily. So the hash ribbon told you to buy on the 3rd. And that, oddly enough, was whenever I said, if you have a 9, gets back tested, you have a green number, close above a prior green number, the 4 closed above the 3, and then we got a hash ribbon buy. These hash ribbons are really good. I think over the past, 5 or 8 years, whenever this was originally posted, history goes back pretty far on this. I'm not quite sure when it does, but within the last 5 years, it only gave you one bad buy, and that was that rare anomaly that we had, the COVID sell-off in March, where it told you to buy here, and then you would have had a loss. But it's been good. This whole run. So that gave you a buy. You could enter along there. And what else we have? Bollinger Bands. Let me hide this again so it's easier to see all this other stuff. Yeah, we're towards the top, but it's finding a little bit of resistance. That's good, though. We're consolidating towards the top of the band. That's actually good. We're holding. We're not getting failure of the trend, the overall trend. We can look at the moving averages. Moving averages are up. That looks fine. So I think, it's a time to stay patient and just, if you're going to scale in, scale in. Not, crazy time to take any extremely bullish positions. Yeah, we have a downtrending CMF, which is usually a bearish signal, especially whenever price goes sideways. But I think the on-balance volume is good. No, it's pretty flat as well. Weekly, I think it's positive. Yeah, see, so we 4.1 million. If we break that, that could, a little bit higher than that. Say 14.2. That could lead to trend. Another breakout trend. RSI still overbought tremendously, so we could see some chop in this range in between, 16.2 and 20,000. So 16 to say 20,000. That's a large range, like I said before. But I think we got the drop, the major drop, because I had said I think we would get 15 to 25% drops. We got that. Could we get some more? From where from the high, we could. That could bring us all the way down to 14,000. But I think we're just going to range. We found support. The longer price stays in this range, between what I had, especially around 19,000. I mean, we're not getting any major selling, so that's actually building a support area whenever price stays in a range an extremely long amount of time. So that's Bitcoin. I wanted to go over gold real quick because I went over gold last week. I think it's still trending down. Yep, long term still trending down. I'm not taking any positions. Look on it on daily real quick. Yeah, so I had also said that I thought gold was going to give you a 9, 1 to 4 candles, and then we're going to go down. This candle is a reversal candle, and we're already red for the day. I mean, it's not big. I mean, it's pretty much zero. It's pretty much flat. But we'll see how it goes. I think it's 1 to 4 candles. We come back down. We can see what the dollar's doing real quick. Dollar index. Yeah, so it was on a 9 daily. We could expect the bounce 1 to 4 days and come back down. See what the weekly trend is. The weekly trend's down. This does not look good for the dollar at all. You have a support area here, it looks like. But that does not look good for the dollar. Let's see what the RSI looks like. RSI is kind of towards the bottom. Daily, it's probably, it's negative. So, you see the RSI like this, it really doesn't stay negative for that long. So, it was extremely oversold here. Went flat, had some up days, kind of consolidated in a range. Broke that range, you can see it here. Right here. 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 Turn this off. Here. We can move this sideways. So yeah, there you go. So that's how these channels work. You can see price consolidate, went up, had some big run-ups. I mean, for dollars, 0.5%. And then it went here, and then eventually it broke down. So what's our target, right? So if we're using this, our target would be the height of this channel. It should probably be red since it's down. Let's change that to red. Right there. So about, say 90. Or, let's say 89. 89.80. The low of this candle, this 9 was 90.47. So yeah, so you can almost say we're at that target, but it's got to go a little bit lower, and I think we're get some bounce. We'll probably get a bounce, maybe retest this area, right? That's where the 1 is, right? That would be our resistance, and if we break out above that, then we can go higher. But for the most part, dollar does not look good at all. Weekly. Yeah, weekly, you see. I think I'd said it before. We had a 9. We had a 4. Found support. That week closed below that. And then, we're getting the bounce only because it's so oversold. But this doesn't look great. All right, so let's do oil. Because I talked about oil, and I think we had... Yep, So here we go. So I had said we had another trading channel, and that what I thought was going to happen, I thought we would break out of it. On the daily, it looks better. So I thought we would come here, we would break out of it, and then we would come and back test it. We kind of, I mean, this is kind of like a back test of this breakout area. I mean, it's close enough. I think this is at 43, say 43.60. We got all the way down to 43.90. That could be a good, you back test that area. Now we're bouncing. We could come back here. I think we're going to go higher. Target for this channel is around $55. We got a back test area around 50. So we're seeing a bounce in oil. I think the long-term trend is starting to trend up as well. Yep, all of our moving averages are up. So something to watch. Could get higher prices in oil. I mean, I think we are. We got some resistance level here. We got a target here. Overall, I don't think we're going to break this long-term trend that we've had for last 12 years. Clear that up. So, yeah. So another thing I wanted to go over. I wanted to go over a couple of other stocks. Something particular, Ford. So you can kind of see what these channels are and how they can serve a purpose to show you long-term trends. So here is Ford, and I don't want to turn that one on. I want to turn this on. It looks busy. But you can see, since 2014, we've been in a downward channel. If I change this to a line, it's probably even better to see it. Yeah. So we've been in a downward channel, kind of roughly in this area. And oddly enough, we're back at the top. So does Ford have enough momentum? My trading style is technical. Do I go read and see what the news is on Ford and why we're getting such a breakout, or why we saw such a breakout? No. As far as technical analysis goes, all that should be in the price. So it's in the chart. I don't necessarily have to know who the CEO is and what sort of deals they're making or anything like that. It should be reflected in the price. And obviously, something is going really well at Ford. Is it good enough that we're going to break a trend that has initially started since 2014? We'll find out. But I also want to show that we're out on 9 on the TD sequential, on the weekly. So I think we get a pullback. I think we're overbought, probably. Yep. So look, this next week, so we found resistance here at this trend, which is, whenever you look at patterns like this, especially patterns that are so long, something that's been since 2014, it's almost, it's almost like you can't believe it. There's no way that you had a pattern that has held up for this long, and then some odd day in, November, everything aligned up, and then the TD sequential showing you a 9 on the weekly. It's just, sometimes you see these things and it's almost like it's too good to be true. It's just weird how this stuff works, but it does. So we're, RSI at 70, we could find resistance, but we could go higher. You can see, like for here, like price wicked higher, but then they broke down. And then, this was the start of it. But here, look, it broke this all in 1 week, and then it found support back up. So we could see this. We could see a breakout in price, and then it could wick all the way back down, back into this channel. How long does this channel last? I'm not sure, but if you wanted to short Ford, this might actually be a good opportunity, to buy some puts or to actually short it, if you can find shares to do that. But you could buy some puts, maybe a month out, see how far this goes, and make a return on those put options. But I'm not going to go into options. Those are a whole other world that takes a lot of time to study and understand. There's so many strategies with options. I've used them before. I kind of trade them, but it's not something I want to go into detail here. They're very complex, and they're easy to understand initially. If I buy a call, I think the price is going to go up. If I buy a put, I think the price is going to go down. And then if I'm selling puts and calls, that'd be the opposite. But not something I want to go through here. If you really want to get into that, there's a lot of information. I would advise studying a tremendous amount because you can lose your money extremely quickly. So anyway, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, that was interesting. I thought that was an interesting channel. I wanted to show that on forward. We'll see. We'll see if this holds up or if it breaks out. And then again, for this channel, the breakout would be something similar to this. It'd be the height of the channel. But this is kind of at an angle, so say we're oddly, let's see. Let me see if I can draw this better. So here's something like this. You could see 50% run up and forward, somewhere around there. So, or some people like to draw it like this. I've seen it a couple ways. Here, you would see a breakout at an angle, right there. You know, still about 40 to 50%. So something to watch. But honestly, I would be exiting if I had forward positions. I would be exiting my positions. I'd be waiting patiently, see what happens. Maybe we get 1 to 4 candles, pull back, like the way this indicator works, and then we go higher and we break this channel that's formed since 2014. But something I wanted to show. I thought it was cool. Anything else? Let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to show. So with all the vaccine talk coming out, I wanted to show a couple of stocks that had gotten cleaned up in February and March, due to all this. And one of them is in Cruiselines, so it's Carnival. And what I think the long-term view in this is within the next year to year and a half, I think we're going to see at least a big run, we're going to see a run up in the price. We have some resistance here at $24. All of our trend lines are starting to trend back up, which is bullish. You had this blue line close above the pink last week, so that's bullish. But we do have indicators that are overbought on the daily, I believe. Yeah, they're getting close. So we can get a breakout here. I think on the 4-hour we're kind of overbought. Yeah, we are. So, and then there's some divergence here. So we're trending down. This price is trending up. That's bearish. But, I mean, we can get some pullback. I don't think the price is going to collapse down unless we get bad news that, vaccine doesn't work and we're going back into lockdowns. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, we're a little bit overbought. I don't think it's anything to be extremely cautious about. On the weekly, we're still kind of under the 70 line. Everything looks okay. If you're in a long-term position, you manage your risk properly. You could take a 5%, maybe this goes all the way back down to 20, but 5 to 10%, pull back, and then we go higher. And what's important here is that the trend's starting to shift up. They're starting to get some confidence in these stocks. We can look at Royal Caribbean. So the main thing is my outlook for these is that in the next year and a half, we're at 20, say 23. We're going to go back to these areas. So in my opinion, if you're looking for an easy trade and you have patience, over the next year and a half, this is a potentially, it says 78, but let's give ourselves a range. This is a 50 to 75% play that I think is simple because these cruise lines aren't going anywhere. People love to take cruises. So we'll see. We can look at Royal Caribbean. The chart might look similar. Yeah, it kind of looks similar. Return isn't as high. We're almost back to those levels, so 25%. So if you're looking at if I'm looking at a cruise line and I want to take a position, Carnival could be the bigger return. And then we can look at airlines because I know airlines have been trending up, but we're already back to the area that we kind of entered and where we broke down initially earlier this year, you can see that there's a line right here, right? There was support. We can go here. Yeah, so there's the, there was like a channel here, right there. Oh, let's draw this out. Let's draw this out and actually see if it worked. All right, because I'm drawing channels on these charts. So let's see. Let's draw one here. Let's draw one here. Oh, that's a big channel. We're going to overshoot it, I think. But let's give ourselves an example and see if this actually, kind of back testing these ideas. That should be good. This is like a rough estimation. So let's see. 50%. And we went, so right here it's saying 67.28. It reached a high of 66, so 67. So let's see what the actual return was. If we draw it from here to there, the high. Yeah, so it's almost there. I mean, it was only off by what, 28 cents. So that channel worked. Yeah, that would have worked long term if you're looking at this on the weekly. You would have entered, that broke out on the channel here back in December 2016. You reached a high of, was it December? Yeah, a year later, you made 34% or 30% because no one gets out at the exact top. But that channel worked. Some people would say there's a pennant. No, just a channel. So yeah, I like channels. This one, let's see the channel here. Let's draw another one and see if it actually reached the target for bottoming out on the channel. So here's a channel. It's actually a little bit higher, but let's just see. Let's just see what it gives us. Let's draw another one here. Let's turn this off so I can draw this. Nope, I want to turn it off. Here to here, it's saying about a 30% drop. We draw it right there. Man, this thing nailed it. So that's two channels you could have used, right? So this is 45% drop. Let's actually see what the drop was here, and the total drop. I try not to use wicks because wicks have a lot of emotion. I mean, that's all emotion selling. So here, I mean, even so if I don't use the wick, 47%, 50%. I mean, it told you whenever the channel broke that we would have, say a 45% drop. I mean, we got within, 2 to 3% of that. That's pretty good. So whenever you see these patterns, they're useful. I mean, that whole pattern played out in a time frame of how many weeks? Let's see how many weeks that was. $172 weeks. That's a long time. 2016. Yeah, so 4 years, or a little bit less than now, like 3.25 years, 3.75 years. It played out, right? But eventually, I mean, you saw that pattern. You would have drawn a channel, roughly, and then it gave you a target, and then you're entering. Right now, here's another thing. You have to look at these. If you study and kind of start to understand some of these patterns, you find some that you like, that you feel confident in, that work. We're on a trend line, right? So there's a trend line right there, boom. And you can draw another one that's kind of like on the top. So here. Yeah, so it's more of like a triangle. It's like it's not an ascending triangle. I forget what they call it, but it's like a triangle. I don't really use these, or these are wedges. It's like an ascending wedge, I think. So wedges aren't my thing, but you can kind of see, if anything, you have a trend line here. You have kind of like, it kind of went outside of this, went above it, but it closed inside of it. But these, you have to realize, these patterns are not, they don't necessarily have to be exact, right? They're giving you a general idea of where price is. They're trying to, kind of training yourself to see these things and understand price action. I didn't want to delete that. So this is Southwest. But what I wanted to do is what I really wanted to do was I wanted to highlight that if you're trying to choose between I want to make a play on economic recovery of the stocks that got, that had big losses in February and March, and I feel like airlines are a good play. You're kind of already back to where they were, so it wouldn't be something to where I think your return would be larger. If I'm deciding between airlines or cruise lines, I'm going with cruise lines because I think we're already back to where we are. I mean, yeah, we can get an upper here, 20%, but I think it's a no-brainer on cruise lines, personally, that the returns are going to be larger over the next year and a half. We can look at another one. It's called Park Hotels. This one, kind of another one that had some losses. It's trending up, but I think, we're again. So it's kind of, whenever you start to see stocks and you're kind of like looking at random ones and they're all kind of entering areas where you have overbought areas, it's kind of important to put everything into perspective and realize, hey, maybe the market itself is overbought right now. Maybe I'm a little bit too exuberant, and I need to maybe reel in some of my trades and be patient, and because we could get a drop. So let's look at the S&P real quick. Oh, hold up. I didn't even talk about this one. So yeah, Park Hotels was one of them. It's kind of run up a little bit already, but overall trend is up 20-something% potentially till we get back to where this area where it broke down. But let's look at the S&P real quick. So S&P. So one thing is there's a pattern called a double top. And as of late, say the last 5 years, double tops, as far as a pattern where you get a top, another top, and then price fails, have become less and less. They're not happening as frequently as they were, from what I've read and what I've actually seen in a couple. So, kind of something that I've learned specifically from this YouTuber I started to watch and learn this TD sequential from. His name's Tone Vase, and he says there are no double tops, and I kind of believe that whenever I actually saw it with my own eyes. So here the S&P got to this 9. There are no double tops, and it broke out. But I was saying, if I'm starting to see a lot of stocks that are in overbought areas, the index might be showing that as well, and we kind of are. And then divergence, right? We're getting higher highs as indicators are going lower. Oh. Yep, see? So divergence. But does that always work? No. It's just another signal. Something to be cautious about, something to keep mindful. We're on an 8. Tomorrow we're going to get a 9. We could be 1 to 4 candles. Maybe we close the week down. We come back to this area of 3,600. We lose 100 points on the S&P. That's possible, right? What would that be? 3%? 2%? Not unrealistic. Let's see what the 4-hour looks like. Oh, we're on an 8. So I would say within the next 2 days, we're probably going to see a pullback in the S&P. Highly likely. We're in overbought areas. Weekly's on a 5, but maybe we get a little bit of a pullback, 2 to 4% range, say maybe, and then S&P consolidates, and the year end we're going to end higher, right? So yeah, let's see. I'll put the Ichimoku on here real quick. Yeah, we're way above it. Yep, no really support areas. Right here, maybe 36.25. We can put up the stop and reversal points. Yep, again, bullish area here. Yeah, so yeah, we can get a pullback in S&P, maybe pull back in some of those some stocks. Oh, I also want to show, okay, so AMC. So this video right here is probably going relatively long, but hopefully you're learning something. So last week they had news that next year Warner Brothers, I believe it was Warner Brothers, yeah, Warner Brothers, was going to be releasing their movies for 2021 on HBO Max. So we had theaters, AMC gained 32% the prior week. And then last week, as soon as the news came out, it dropped 21%. So would you have been in this? You could have, but manage your risk. Know where you're wrong. These could see some more sell-off. Yeah. So you're looking at support area here. Potentially going back to this 9, finding support all the way down to $2. We can look at the other one. I think it was Cinemark. Yeah, Cinemark. Wow, that had a bad day. That's when the news came out. Here. Yeah, 20%. Also, weed stocks. Last week, the MORE Act passed. But it was buy the rumor, sell the fact. The vote, as soon as you can see, let's go over Aurora Cannabis. Aurora Cannabis. All right, let's go on the hourly, because I want to show this. The vote happened, and the news started coming out that it passed at around 12. Was it 12? It was a little bit before 12. A little bit before 12. So here, let's go to we can go all the way down to the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart. Yeah, a little bit before 12. So right when the news came out, it was a little bit before 12 that it had passed in the House. You started to see sell-off. So 11:45, price dropped 0.8%, then 2%, and then 3%, and then it found some support. So that's there is a saying in trading or in markets: you buy the rumor, you sell the fact. There's a lot of buildup into a vote. Everyone, price runs up, and then whenever the news comes out, price, the asset sells off. Or there's a lot of buildup into earnings. There's good earnings, and then as soon as the market opens the next day, depending on when they report, or that day, it sells off. So that's something to be mindful of. If you're trading or you're trying to trade, one tip that I can give is that if you enter, you're entering an asset, and then you have a target, I think it's going to go up this high. You should also have an area of when you're wrong, and then you should never ever trade without a stop, because trading without a stop, you're increasing your risk, because that asset can drop. There could be bad news come out, or anything can happen, and that stop will save you if you have a stop implemented. So I never trade without a stop. It's extremely important to always have a stop. Get some water real quick. All right, so yeah, so do I think long term these are going to go up higher? We'll see. These were also in overbought areas. Let's see, RSI. Not on the weekly, but on the daily. Yep. Again, kind of overbought area on the 4-hour. We were close. We can go all the way down in the 1 hour. I don't usually like to trade it, but yeah. So it gave you an indication here. You can see there was divergence again, man. I mean, this one's a little bit flatter, but whenever price is flat and you're getting a downtrend in the indicator, that's bearish. So we go here, boom, downtrend. We're getting price here, some resistance. Indicators going down. Probably the same thing on the CMF. Yep, same thing on the CMF. So that would have been like, okay, we had a reversal. We're going back up. I'm in a position. I need to be cautious. My indicators are coming down. I'm showing some divergence. I need to have my stop. I have my stop. I entered my trade. What did I say? I really would have entered here. My return would have been, so it closed. Well, you would have exited here, right? Initially. So 40%. And then I re-enter here, right here, say on the close. Oh, I would have lost there, right? No, I would have made a small percentage, 3% or something like that. But that's why you always, you always have a stop. Don't turn a winning trade into a losing one. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. So, you might not be, maybe this would have sold off and then it would have gone up, 10%. But nothing wrong with taking profits. But yeah, I want to go over that since I was talking about the wheat stocks last week. Buy the rumor, sell the fact. We could get a pullback here for a couple of days, then we continue up. There's going to be anticipation building again whenever this goes before the Senate. There hasn't been a date for that, but again, that'll be another trade that you could possibly make. Price comes back, consolidates. We get some indication on our indicators that we're going to start to see price rise up. I mean, the long-term trend's starting to trend back up. Anticipation into the Senate vote. Senate passes it. Maybe price explodes that day rather than selling off. It could sell off the same way it did in the House. But there's trades. You got to be smart. You got to study, know what you're doing, come up with a plan. Don't ever enter a trade without a plan. But that's it. So yeah, I'll go back to Bitcoin real quick. See where we're at. Yeah, consolidating. No trade zone. Wait for the breakout. But thanks for watching.